How much money do I need to invest in order to get approved for an E2 visa? Hey guys, it's Marcus from Veritas Immigration Law. We are an immigration-only law firm located in Southern Florida, and we specialize in handling E1 and E2 treaty investor visas. This is probably the most common question that I get from potential or prospective E2 clients. They want to know how much money they have to invest in order to get approved for an E2 visa. And my answer is always the same for everybody. The rules say that you have to invest a substantial amount of capital. Okay, that's the rule. And the way that you figure that out is you have to basically you kind of have to work backwards and figure out how much is it going to cost for you to make your business operational. And so that's going to be different whether you're buying an existing business or if you're starting a new business from scratch. So if you're buying an existing business, then you'll need to invest 100% or more of the cost of that business. If you're starting a business from scratch, you're going to have to do a little bit of research and figure out, like I said, working backwards. You're going to have to figure out how much is it going to cost me in order to make sure that this business is operational and that it's not marginal. Okay? So marginality is one of the important considerations that you need to be able to demonstrate when you're applying for your E2 visa. So if you haven't seen some of our other videos about marginality, which I'll link in this video, your business is at risk of being considered marginal if it's only really producing enough income to support you and your personal living expenses. The business has to be producing beyond what your living expenses are. So that's going to be different for everyone, right? It's going to depend on where you live, where you're starting your business. Are you buying an existing business or starting a new business? And also whether, what type of business you're going to be starting. There's a lot of considerations that come into play in establishing the substantiality of your investment. But the key thing is that the visa officer has to see that your business isn't just speculative, right? It's real and it's operating. Another important consideration is that the money has to be spent, okay? A lot of people seem to overlook that part because the E2 is an investment-focused visa, and investment implies risk, right? So you're taking your money and you're putting it at risk, and you're expecting a return. So the money has to be spent. It can't just be like transferred or wired from your home country bank account into a U.S. bank account. Although you probably are going to need to do that, that itself isn't the investment, right? Just transferring money from one place to another, you actually have to spend it on your business. And there's certain type of expenditures within the business that are beneficial to your E2 application, and there's some expenditures that might not be beneficial. But the key thing is that the money has to be spent, and you have to be able to document that the money has been spent on the business. So it's all about the viability of your business. So the amount that you need to invest may be more or less based on what other kind of factors you have in place in your business. So like for example, if you have an employee already, and you're just starting your business and you've got an employee or maybe 2 employees, that might be a very positive factor in favor of making maybe a smaller investment than somebody who really doesn't have anything and is completely starting from scratch. That person would probably have to demonstrate a little bit higher investment in a situation like that. Also your business plan. If you have a strong business plan in place, that is also a positive factor that can influence the amount of your investment. Now, one other factor that's going to be at play, and this is something that's really beyond the control of any E2 applicant, is the consulate or the American embassy. So different consulates have different rules about how they process E2 visas. They all have to follow the Foreign Affairs Manual in terms of establishing whether the investment is substantial. But there are consulates who have reputations or who they just generally will require more of an investment than other consulates will. I'm thinking in particular of like Pakistan and South Korea. For some reason, there are certain consulates that just, as a general matter, they're gonna, what might work at one consulate won't work at another. And if you're applying in some of those consulates that require higher investments, you want to be aware of that before you go into it, and which is one of the benefits of hiring an experienced E2 immigration lawyer, because they're going to know which consulates have those nuances and which ones don't. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to us. Our phone number is 305-306-7833. We'd be happy to help you put together your E2 visa application.